Small water towers or tanks can be found on top of taller apartment and business buildings. The tank supplies water pressure to the upper floors. If a building has a 5,000 cubic foot water tower on its roof, then how many gallons can it store? Alright, so when I'm looking at this problem, I know that I'm going between a cubic length to a volume. And there's one conversion factor that'll do that for me, and that's here. And the reason why it works is because I got centimeters cubed on one side and I've got milliliters on the other. So I got a cubic volume equaling just a volume measurement. So what I've got to do is I got to get the feet down to centimeters, and then I got to get over to milliliters, and then milliliters over to gallons. All right, so let's start with what I know. 5,000 feet cubed over 1. And now I've got to get that down to centimeters. So feet to centimeters. Feet to centimeters, let's see, there's one conversion factor that will do that for me when I'm working through all this, and that's an inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters. The 4 got knocked off. All right, so let's work on that. Let's see. So I can get this down to inches. So a foot is equal to 12 inches. Now, my units don't match, so what I need to do is I need to cube everything to make them match. So feet on top, feet on the bottom, that's good, but then it's got to cube everything in the fraction. So now they match. All right, keep going. I got to go inches to centimeters. So I got inches on top, so I'll put inches on the bottom. And 2.54 centimeters. My units don't match, so I've got to cube my units to make them match. So I got inches cubed at the top. That means I got to have inches cubed at the bottom. Centimeters cubed, 2.54 cubed. Got to cube everything. All right, so let's keep going. So I got centimeters cubed, great. Now I got to get to my volume side and use my 1 centimeter cubed equals a milliliter. So over here I'll do centimeter cubed over a milliliter. So I didn't do anything to this one. This is how it appears over here on the side. So I'm just going to write it the way it is. That's great. Now I'm out of room, so I'm going to have to go to the next line on here. I've got milliliters on top, so now I've got to have milliliters on the bottom, and I need to get to ounces, so I got to get to liters to get to ounces. So milliliters on top, that means my next fraction, if I had enough room, would be right next to it. It would put milliliters on the bottom, and then liters at the top, except I made a mistake here. That's going to be 1,000 milliliters, and then liters on top. Liters on top, let's see, and then I'll go here. 2 liters, 67.63 ounces. So 2 liters equals 67.63 ounces. Notice down here my units match, liters and liters, and so I don't need to raise anything to a power anymore because they already match. And that's all because that milliliters over cubic centimeters did it for me. Now I've got to go to gallons. 128 ounces over a gallon. Again, don't need to square or cube anything because the units match. Ounces on top, ounces on the bottom. Alright, so let's take a look at what we have here. I've got feet cubed on top, feet cubed on the bottom, inches cubed on top, inches cubed on the bottom, centimeters cubed on top, centimeters cubed on the bottom, milliliters on top, milliliters on the bottom, liters and liters, ounces and ounces, and I'm left with gallons, which is what I want my answer to be. So that's great. So the key thing here is when you're matching the units, sometimes you've got to raise them to a power to make sure they match. And then once you get a conversion factor that no longer requires that, like this one right here, then you stop. You stop squaring or stop cubing in this case. Okay, so let's see what the calculator screen would look like. If I was doing this with my calculator, I would do everything in the numerator in parentheses first. So 5,000. It's not raised to a power because someone already did the math for me. Because I can see in the problem there's no cube up there. So I don't need to do anything to that. Times 12 cubed times 2.54 cubed times 67.63. And I don't need to do anything to that because it's nothing like that in the fraction. Divided by, in the denominator, I'll put everything in the parentheses. So that's going to be, let's see, I don't hit a number till I get over here on the bottom line. That's 1,000 times 2, so I'm going to do that in my head just to save room. That's 2,000 times 128. So that was 1,000 times 2. That's where I got the 2,000 from. All right, put this in my calculator. And when I'm all done, I get a number of 37,404 gallons. So I'll just do 3 sig figs here. 37,400 gallons.